First, there were 10, now only 9 remain. T-Gizzle has been eliminated. He was certain he knew the answer, but it slipped right through his fingers. With no Microsoft points in the pot, the contestants are beginning to question their fellow players. But in the end, only one question matters. That question? Who is the mole? Congratulations, contestants, you made it through your first elimination. However, there is no time to celebrate, as we're going straight into your next challenge.
In Run, contestants must run a timed obstacle course. They have 2 minutes 50 seconds to reach the end of the course, running through a variety of jumping and maneuvering sections that require speedy but careful execution. If anyone falls off any section of the course after the initial platform jumps, they will be out of the challenge. If a contestant takes too long on any section of the course, teleporters will spawn, also taking them out of the challenge. If any of the contestants reach the final platform, 1,500 Microsoft points will be awarded to the team. An exemption is also up for grabs to the contestant who reaches the end of the course. If multiple contestants reach the end, they must decide who will keep the exemption within 1 minute of the challenge ending, or forfeit the exemption and lose the challenge altogether.
Supposed to get in these vehicles? I hope so.
Oh, okay, safe.
Oh no. Ah!
Careful. I'm so afraid.
Whoa, what the?
Oh.
Gravity
That's
bones are
awesome.
invisible. You see those little specks? Mike, you're gonna have to jump. Goose, you're gonna have to jump.
Why do I have to jump?
Holy crap.
Oh.
Oh god, this is like Indiana Jones. Alright guys, stay crouched and do not try to go in a straight line. Do not bump into each other or else we all go through. Yeah, we just have to wait our turn.
I feel like someone's knocking me over. Wait your turn, Apple. Wait your turn. Wait your turn, Apple. Apple, what are you doing?
You guys have to crouch through the little maze thing?
You don't have to crouch, but you're gonna be moving slower. So, oh shit!
Wow.
I got
Wow. Oh, wow.
Contestants, unfortunately once again, you have failed. None of you made it to the end of the course in time. Sundown did make it to the penultimate platform, but missed the jetpacks at the end. For making it that far, however, he has earned the team half the points available for this challenge, making your total pot after 3 challenges 750 Microsoft points.
Alright, so we just failed challenge 3. I don't think anybody's particularly surprised. We're on quite a streak here.
So the third challenge we did today was quite a bit easier than the first two. I personally got, I think, second farthest, and then of course I died. Like everyone else, we suck.
Incredibly frustrated with how that turned out. I feel like had everybody just gotten out of my way, I would have been able to make it past those shield doors, but just everybody was in the way, and it was ridiculous.
Pretty much your standard ninja course, only a lot easier, I suppose. Run forward, don't die, don't get teleported out. Pretty simplistic, really wasn't any big deal. I think a lot of people held back in the shield door section, which was a shame.
Apple did keep pushing me against the thing, and then at one point he almost pushed me and another character off. He just kept wanting to run in through that wall, and it pretty much hurt the team at that point.
Actually was something I was more fit for. I'm more used to playing lots of custom games that involve running. Specifically, I did play the Pete the Duck run map.
Personally, I thought it gave much more insight into who the mole was just by playstyle tactics. When we got to the point where you had to crouch through the shield doors, the one-sided shield doors, it seemed as if some people were purposely failing to waste time.
Congratulations, you finally have some points in the pot. Now we move on to our next challenge, to test your Halo knowledge.
In Fusion Shot, contestants will be quizzed on their knowledge of the Halo universe by answering a series of questions. These questions are grouped into 9 separate categories with 3 questions per category. For each category presented, the team must decide who among them knows the most about the category. The chosen contestant must then answer each question to the best of their knowledge. Each question a contestant answers correctly earns them 1 point. If a contestant gets a question wrong, they will have the opportunity to earn points by sniping fusion coils. Each fusion coil a contestant hits will replace one of their wrong answers and earn them an additional point. If at least 5 contestants earn 3 points each, the team will earn 1,500 Microsoft points for the pot.
For the first part of this challenge, each of you will only have the chance to answer questions in one category, so choose carefully. Once someone has answered questions, they cannot go again. After we announce the category, you'll have 20 seconds to discuss who will answer the questions and step outside the room. With that said, it's time for some Halo trivia. Your first category is Competitive Halo.
Guys, I'll take it.
Either myself as in Deadpool, or who's the other guy that's in here?
I did.
Alright, Ty, you're the first contestant to go. I'll ask you 3 questions, and at no point is anyone allowed to help you. Anyone who attempts to help will result in forfeiting the question and resulting penalties. If you'll follow me over here, I'll be asking you the questions. If you would kindly go to the stage on the right-hand side and stand on the pallet for me. So Ty, question 1. Who is the most winningest player of all time in MLG history?
Ogre 2.
That is correct. Question 2. What is AGL's motto?
Uncut, raw, Halo.
I'm sorry, but I cannot accept and therefore incorrect. Question 3. Name the founders of MLG.
Sundance. And Plat David Acapella.
That is incorrect.
The next category is Spartan Ops.
Not me. I haven't even finished.
I haven't even started.
No one else can do it.
Put Apple back.
Apple, for your first question. How long after the Halo 4 campaign does Spartan Ops take place?
I want to say 3 years?
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Next question. Name 2 of the Wargames maps used in the Spartan Ops series.
I want to say Complex. And Ragnarok.
Those are correct. Your last question. Who from Oni tells Lasky to kill Dr. Halsey?
That would be Sergeant Lasky.
That is incorrect.
Your next category is developers.
Alright, nobody?
I could do developers.
All right, do it.
Nick, question 1. 343 Industries is named after which Halo character?
343 Guilty Spark.
That is correct. Question 2. Which city is Bungie and 343 Industries based in?
Seattle.
That is also correct. At what event did Bungie first announce Halo?
Oh, that was Apple something.
I need a year, please.
It was 2000.
That is incorrect.
Next topic is weapons and vehicles.
I'll do it. I don't care. Who else? Anybody else?
I'm so sorry. I'm eating bread dipped in mashed potatoes. I was just so hungry that
One of Deadpool, just do it. Let's go.
It doesn't matter, man. You can take it.
Take it, Deadpool. Let's go.
If you think you got it.
Yeah.
You're good.
I'm not 100%, man. It's just alright.
Deadpool, for your first question. How many rounds are in the battle rifle?
36.
That is correct. Your next question. How many usable weapons are there for Halo CE for the Xbox?
12.
That is incorrect. Your last question. What is the full name of the Scorpion tank?
Oh, Jesus. Mark. Yeah, that's 186, I guess. Scorpion tank.
That is incorrect.
The next category is red versus blue.
I don't know. That by the back of my head. I wish I could go again.
You and me
I've only
both.
seen the first couple seasons, so
Who said they only saw the first couple of Dread Pirate?
yeah. I've only seen like the first 2 or 3 seasons.
Just take it.
Okay.
So Mike, question 1. What is the name of the bomb from the series?
Andy?
That is correct. Question 2. What was Donut sent to the store to buy?
Donut was sent to distorted by headlight fluid and elbow grease.
That is also correct. Question 3. Who was the first commissioner of Griffball?
Was it Bernie Burns?
That is incorrect.
Your next topic is Easter eggs.
Gagger, you want to go, or do you have a specialty?
I've only found one, but I'll just do it.
Kevin, for your first question, what hidden weapon can you find on the campaign mission Metropolis?
Fuel rod cannon.
That is incorrect. What myth song has been included in every Bungie Halo game?
Ode to Mist.
That is incorrect. Your last question, what is the code to unlock the I Would Have Been Your Daddy's skull in Halo 3?
ABYXX.
That is incorrect.
Next topic, Machinima.
Anyone? Isn't gone?
I have. You know anything about Machinima?
I have absolutely no experience with him, so like.
Oh. The Griffball category. I'm coming back for you. Just want you to know.
Goose. Who created the Top 10 series?
Nick and Eli.
That is incorrect. Question 2. What song was made popular by the matchmaking series?
I've never heard of the matchmaking series, so Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
That is incorrect. Question 3. How many episodes of Playtime have there been?
40?
That is also incorrect.
The next category is campaign.
I know some, but
I'm banking on a Forge category, guy.
What's the category? I didn't hear it.
Campaign.
Campaign? I'll take campaign.
God, I feel scared.
Sundown, for your first question. Who is the voice of Master Chief?
No answer. I don't know.
That is incorrect. Next question. How many missions are there in the Halo 2 campaign?
7.
That is incorrect. Your final question. Name all 9 gold skulls in Halo 3.
Iron. Black Eye. Thunderstorm. Cloud. Tilt. Blind. That's all I can name. I don't know.
I'm sorry, that is not enough, and that is not the correct answer.
And Hippo, the final category you've been left with is multiplayer maps. Hippo, question 1. How many DLC maps were there in Halo 3?
I'm gonna say 3.
That is incorrect. Question 2. What were the code names for Haven and Adrift?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea.
That is also incorrect. Question 3. Name the 3 multiplayer maps seen in the mission Long Night of Solace in Halo Reach.
Oh, shit. I don't know that one either.
That is incorrect. So after the question part of this challenge, none of you have achieved a perfect 3 out of 3. Therefore, if you want to win this challenge, you must now hit some targets. Well, you needed 5 out of the 9 of you to get 3 points on this challenge, and not one of you did. That makes 4 challenges in a row you have failed to complete successfully. Are the challenges that hard? Or maybe you are making life too easy for the mole.
That was definitely a mind. You had some good questions there, so that was definitely a difficult one for some of us.
Actually, felt like I did somewhat decent. Kind of disappointed I didn't get all of my quiz questions right, but because I was hoping to go for the questions because I knew I'm not a very strong sniper.
Yeah, the snipe challenge was challenging, and maybe we could have got some of the questions right. But yeah, it was a challenge not knowing what the next topic was going to be.
I don't really see too much in the way of how the fusion coils were exactly easy to hit. So I can see how a lot of people miss those.
I missed all 3 questions, and I missed all 3 fusion coils. I suck.
Freaking uncut raw Halo type thinking. I don't know. It was a nice insight into seeing what people actually knew and if they were willing to step up, if they had confidence in themselves.
I didn't know what was coming. You know, I was holding out. Maybe there was going to be like a Griff Ball section, and then I really didn't want to leave my teammates high and dry. So when like the red versus blue came up, and I realized I knew all those answers, I totally could have taken that one.
Well, I'm already really annoyed at Goose as it stands, but when I heard that Machinima was the topic, and I had already gone, I was a little paranoid. However, knowing I could have answered all 3 correctly, I was a bit stressed at the end. But knowing me, I gotta maintain my character continuity-wise. I'm just like, I could have gotten those right, but I'm gonna secretly pretend I don't hate you.
Once again, it's time to take the quiz. 10 questions to the identity of the mole. The contestant who scores lowest will be eliminated. But with the contestants struggling so much with the challenges, do they have enough information to draw the right conclusions? Question 1. In Fusion Shot, how many questions did the mole answer correctly? Question 2. During Run, at what stage was the mole teleported? Question 3. What helmet permutation does the mole wear? Question 4. In Fusion Shot, in what order did the mole answer their questions? Question 5. In Run, what vehicle did the mole use to cross the jumps? Question 6. Does the mole have a gamer score above 20,000? Question 7. In Fusion Shot, who asked the mole their questions? Question 8. During Run, in what position did the mole reach the one-way shields? Question 9. On the elimination platforms before Run, how many people were standing right next to the mole? Question 10. Who is the mole?
Well, I mean, at this point, I'm still kind of leaning towards Apple Goose Checker because both of them got zeros on the challenges. And additionally, on the question, he said Lasky, even though Lasky was part of the question. So at this point, I'm leaning towards Apple, but I still don't want to make a commitment as to who the mole might be.
Some stuff has been going on. I have my suspicions. Probably someone for sure I think could be it is Lollygagger. Apple is always suspicious, but he's always just a doof. I can never tell if he's being stupid or sabotaging.
My case still stands that Master Sundown is the mole. He just acts so unusual.
I have a fairly good suspicion that a lot of people knew the answers to the questions and perhaps intentionally gave wrong answers. And as far as to who that may be, I don't know if I even know.
I'm still thinking that it's Deadpool. He's a competitive guy. He didn't get anything.
Still think it's the same ones as in Pirate or Apple, but I'm also starting to get possible suspicions of Lollygagger and Sniper Hippo. Less Sniper Hippo and more Lollygagger.
Either Deadpool is a moron, or he's a very incompetent mole, or he's trying to make people think he's the mole. But I don't think he's the mole. I just think he's an idiot, or he's trying to make people think I don't know about him.
I'm a little scared about because we've been doing so bad. The mole hasn't had to do anything. Just sit back and watch us fail. So it's really hard to become suspicious when you don't have to do anything. So maybe the mole at work. I don't know.
I'm not so sure it's Goose anymore, like I previously thought. But I'm still banking on Apple having something to do with being the mole. He's too energetic for his own good. Didn't really speak up about his topic too much in the fourth challenge.
Welcome to your second elimination. In this episode, we have a tie, which means the person who answered the fewest questions correctly in the slowest time will be eliminated. Let's begin. We'll start with Deadpool. Hippo. Tie. Kevin. Goose. Nick. Apple. I'm sorry, Apple. You are the second victim of the mole, and must now leave the competition.
Well, I expected it. I really did. However, I thought maybe it was a bit too obvious for me to assume too much early on. Heart's still pounding, even though I did lose. However, I am strong in the most obscure way possible, and I only hope that whoever does win the mole wins it fairly. Don't assume the obvious, and always suspect those you would least suspect, especially those you would least suspect.
Subscribe and hit that notification bell to not miss a single episode, and join our Discord community. Link in the description.